Hello and a very warm welcome to our Twinkle of Christmas Masterclass. I'm Claire German, Managing Director at Design Centre Chelsea Harbour. In this virtual format, we're keeping our community engaged and inspired wherever they are. We're bringing together the best in creative talent as they share their insider knowledge, decorating secrets and tricks of the trade. Everything may be different this year, but by the magic of technology, we're bringing the spirit of Christmas to your home. I'm delighted to introduce Jonathan Attwood. He's the founder of Last Supper. From amazing bars to intimate suppers, they have worked with some of the biggest names in design, art and fashion, including Burberry, the Elton John AIDS Foundation and Sotheby's. Today we've got a mixologist masterclass on how to create the perfect festive cocktails. It's a great way to impress your friends with your newfound skills at home. So over to you, Jonathan and Jack, and thank you all for tuning in.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Johnny.
Hello, I'm Jack.
And thank you to Design Centre for hosting today's masterclass. We're going to be showing you some cocktail ideas for Christmas 2020, maximum impact, minimum effort, things that you can prepare at home for entertaining this festive season.
Absolutely. And these cocktails we've come up with, these are cocktails based on our nearly 2 decades of experience of running really beautiful parties.
Yeah, Jack and I have worked together for 17 years, I think, Jack.
Gosh, that's a long, yes. Haven't we done well?
Some of us better than others. So there's 3 cocktails we're going to show you today. The first is a long version, which is called Merry and Bright.
Lovely.
Second, Jack's going to show you an Espresso Martini, maybe with rum, so a twist on the original. And then I'm going to show you a non-alcoholic version of a Negroni, which is a great kind of adult version of a soft cocktail. So I'm going to start off with the first cocktail, Merry and Bright, and we are using what I would generally term as an old-fashioned glass or a whiskey-style tumbler. These have little embossed bits of white which kind of resemble snowflakes, so kind of cute for Christmas. And I am garnishing this with a little wooden peg, some fresh bay leaves, a few rose hips, and a twist of orange, but it could be citrus of any sort.
And garnishes are really important because you can base them based on how you maybe decorate your Christmas table, what your favourite kind of sensory herbs are. But whenever we plan events, we always send over, it's really important that we've thought about the look of the glass, how it smells and how it kind of looks. So don't overlook it because it adds a little bit of festive kind of cheer, which I think is important this year.
Yes, absolutely. Lots of festive cheer in 2020. And you want things that add a flourish and add a little bit of a ta-da quality for when you're serving these drinks for guests as they arrive to your home, or even your closest family and friends, depending on how we can entertain in December this year. So, easy cocktail to start with. It's all shop-bought ingredients, pre-mixed together in a jug ahead of your guests arriving. So the recipes for all of these cocktails today can be found on the Design Centre website, so you don't need to worry about noting down the quantities, etc. But in summary, I've pre-mixed my cocktail here. As they would say, here's one I've made earlier. Equal quantities of cranberry juice and blood orange juice. Quickly on the cranberry juice, you want good quality cranberry juice, so freshly squeezed cranberries. It's about 4 times the cost of what you would normally think is cranberry juice, which are kind of the heavily sugared, clear cranberry juices. This will be cloudy and you'll find it in the fresh juice section. To that, we're going to add blood orange juice, also known as sanguinello.
Oh, delicious. It's nice and tart, isn't it?
Yeah, super tart and just more interesting than normal orange juice. We're going to add some grenadine, so some pomegranate syrup, and some Angostura bitters. Angostura bitters is to taste. Personally, I love it, so I always add a good number of glugs into this recipe. So if you have 2 pints of each of the juices, you're going to be making approximately 10 serves of this cocktail. So, pre-mixed in the jug, as I've said, the cranberry juice, the blood orange juice, the grenadine, the Angostura bitters can be done well ahead into the fridge to make sure it's lovely and chilled down. The only other thing you need to do is to be garnishing your glass. Again, that can be done ahead of time. Then when your guests arrive, you're going to have the ice put into your glass. I would also suggest that you pre-add your alcohol into the bottom of the glass ahead of the ice, which means you can do that further in advance as well. And you're going to be adding in approximately 30 mils of vodka and about 10 ml of a blood orange liqueur, which we're using.
Such a beautiful bottle.
If you can't get this, you can use Cointreau. It's not essential to have either for this recipe, but I like it as a little extra special addition.
Put lots of ice in your glasses as well, guys. There is nothing worse than having a separation between your cocktail and just the ice floating on the top. So fill your glasses up with ice.
So I've put my vodka in and I've put my blood orange liqueur. And all that is left to do now from my pre-made cocktail in my fridge is to top it up over the ice, and you are ready to go.
So simple. And we're using paper straws because they're so much better for the environment. You can also get metal straws that you would just pop in the dishwasher afterwards. So that's right. And put your straw in right at the last minute, and that straw will last for about 2 drinks, I would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you'll need to change them. So that's your first cocktail, Merry and Bright. Jack, you're going to talk to Espresso Martini.
Okay, so this is over the years of working in events all over London and Europe, Espresso Martinis are so popular because they give that lovely kind of kick of energy, they're glamorous, they're shaken, and then the lovely part from when maybe dinner is finished and it's moving into pre-dancing, or maybe it's the end of your cocktail party. So they've got lots of different kind of guises. Important things, as we said earlier, chill your glasses down ahead of time. So we've put ice, as you can see, into these beautiful Venetian martini glasses. Thank you. Now this is a really simple cocktail to make. You're going to need a Boston shaker. I've got one here. You can make a pre-mix. On events, we often have a barman in the kitchen spending hours making all the coffee so that we have that coffee premix ready made for us. But there are really simple hacks. We're using a delicious coffee liqueur.
Yeah.
This has been roasted in Dorset, so we're kind of keeping local, which is very important, and it's got a really complex kind of layered taste to it. So very few ingredients. So this has got ice in already. You want to have half the Boston shaker filled with ice. You're also going to need a way to kind of measure your spirits. So if you haven't got one of these, you can just use a little shot glass. So it's 25 mils of dark rum. Now dark rum is really important. Don't use white rum because you'd have that with a rum and coke. A dark rum has got far more complexity to it. It's got notes of almond and hazelnut in it. So it pairs really nicely with the coffee. So one of those, second one of those.
So when Jack puts the coffee liqueur in as well, you might take a sharp intake of breath and think you're having something that's heavily laden with alcohol. The coffee liqueur is much weaker than the rum, about half the strength
25%, yeah.
So and they vary from about 20 to 25, so you can get some that are weaker than this. So you're not ending up with something that's so potent. So it's a good serve in the end.
So then it's just 125ml shot of that. Pop that in. You want to have a tiny little bit of water in. My ice has been diluting and melting a little bit in here, so I've got a little bit of ice in there, and that kind of helps with just diluting down the coffee liqueur a little bit. Pop the top of your Boston shaker on, tap that down. Now you want to aggressively shake this for about 15 seconds. Make sure that this is down, else you'll have a terrible accident. And this is exciting because your guests will know that there's something really fun about it. How's my hair? Yeah. Okay, so when you think you've finished, keep going. Okay, because the more you shake, the more of that delicious foamy kind of head that you get.
Yeah.
You'll need your strainer on top because you want to catch the ice. The higher you kind of pour it into the glass, the better kind of creamy head you get on it. But that takes a little bit of practice.
The sole reason Jack was invited today was to shake that.
Well, that looks delicious. There we go. So we've dipped these glasses in a little bit of melted chocolate with a little bit of 24 karat gold leaf, just to add that kind of, that wow factor really, isn't it?
Again, a little bit of pizzazz. And it's got to be 24 karat gold leaf. It can't be anything less than that because it's toxic. Again, on the Chelsea design website, the Design Centre website, we will put the links of all of these products that we're recommending here today. But this comes in a little canister you literally just shake onto the chocolate while it's just a little bit molten. So espresso martinis are complete, and we're going to go on to the third cocktail that we're doing for you today. As I said, non-alcoholic version of a classic Negroni. So Negronis are classically very simple to make, and no more difficult in a non-alcoholic version either. So
and quite potent though, aren't they?
Yeah, in the classic version they're really potent. One of the things we've noticed, particularly over the past few years, is a real kind of surge in demand for great adult quality soft drinks or alcohol-free cocktails. Millennials particularly, it's kind of the biggest growing trend that there is on the party scene, actually. So, you know, very often now the days of elderflower and sparkling water have gone. You need to be providing real alternatives that people look at and feel like the equivalent to a good cocktail.
Yeah, I agree.
So for a classic Negroni, you'd be having gin, you'd be having a bitter type of an aperitif, so something like a Campari, and you'd be having a sweet vermouth. So these are all alternatives to those ingredients. Again, we'll recommend brands on the website for you to source online. And it's a third of each of the ingredients. So it's super simple, in it goes. So my alternative to the gin, which is infused with the same botanicals that you would a gin, so citrus, rosemary, juniper, etc.
Perfect.
The alternative, bitter, so your replacement for that Campari, and the replacement for your sweet vermouth. Now, a normal Negroni, you would be stirring over ice for a little bit of time just to bring down the quantity of the alcohol. But with this, there's no need because it's alcohol free. Yes, please. And then a quick stir. Again, this can be pre-made into your fridge ahead of your guests arriving. And then icy cold, a good quantity of ice into the glass, and your serve is going to be about 90 ml.
Okay.
We're using these lovely heavy cut glass wine glasses for this.
Oh, that looks so festive.
There we go. And then you can finish that in a number of ways. I've been known to stud cranberries onto a little skewer for a Christmas party with those before. But as we've got it to hand here today, we're going to use a little bit of citrus. If you're feeling particularly flourished, you can break the oil from the skin and flame it over the glass. But for the purpose of today, I'm just going to agitate it a little bit, wipe it around the rim of the glass so you get that great scent while you take your first sip, and then that goes into the drink, and that is your non-alcoholic Negroni.
Yeah, wonderful.
So those are our quick and easy cocktail ideas for you today, and I hope you enjoy. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas,
Yeah.
and here's to optimistic and positive 2021. Thanks very much.